files. Like the state of New York, one of the district attorneys was hiding. They were hiding documents. They had to force them to give documents. I think there's so many powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trials?
Oh, yeah.
Trials. Why?
As everyone is aware, Diddy's case ended up going somewhat better for him than most of us anticipated. However, there is a reason why it is occurring. And Joe Rogan claims that this is the reason Diddy was able to leave after only a year. And the explanation is a little nauseating, I must say. You've probably noticed those headlines if you've been paying close attention to this. Federal accusations against Diddy were dropped. Extremely loud energy. However, the phrase acquitted doesn't fully describe the situation. It is more profound. Even though he was found not guilty of transporting Rico and X, he was nonetheless charged with 2-man act offenses, and that is no little matter. If you understand what I mean, that has to do with moving people across state boundaries for night employment. He was found guilty on 2 counts, each of which carries a maximum term of 10 years in prison. That's a total of 20 years. It's federal. However, because the massive, heavy charges aren't sticking, folks are assuming he's going to walk away unharmed. However, that legal victory does not imply that people have forgotten. People still recall what transpired after Cassie made those initial accusations. Diddy quickly came out with a post calling it a money grab and claiming that he was innocent. Surprisingly, some people genuinely rode with him. Even famous people like Slim Thug and Floyd Mayweather publicly supported him.
I'm not going to speak bad about P. Diddy, because he's still a black man. Mistakes happen, and I can't say if it is or it's not a mistake, but things happen in life.
Until you proven guilty in court, we can't, you know what I'm saying? So everybody, we just all throwing our opinions out.
And for a minute, that entire defense held up until the hotel's video surfaced, showing him dragging Cassie up. The game altered when the tape was released. The version of the article Diddy had been peddling was no longer purchased. Furthermore, he didn't take responsibility because he wanted to. It was because he was at a loss for options.
To reflect on the darkest times in your life, sometimes you gotta do that. I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Add to it the reality that this isn't taking place in a remote world. People are fed up with watching wealthy and influential people skate while the rest of the population is forced to face the flames in 2025. Therefore, it is easy for many onlookers to think that someone with Diddy's level of fame could avoid facing serious repercussions. Justice begins to feel more like an option than a need when you are surrounded by a circle of silence, a bank of money, and a line of upscale attorneys. Joe Rogan and other federal legal commentators hinted at a more profound issue. Diddy could have avoided a life sentence thanks to the verdict, but he might have been stuck in a different type of eternal misery. This is where things become even more intriguing. Diddy isn't free despite escaping the most serious allegations. Since September, he has been imprisoned at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, or MDC, and remains there. As the nation celebrated Independence Day, Diddy was consuming cold sandwiches and fruit punch from a packaged lunch in a facility that some claim is collapsing. According to one prison insider, some convicts are tearing up bed linens for necessities since the BOP is so broke that they don't have money for toilet paper.
Not to say that Sean Diddy Combs won't have something to celebrate tomorrow, more than a lot of people, maybe even Diddy himself expected. But the fact remains he will spend the 4th of July in the same place he's been every day since he was arrested last September, in the notoriously awful MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn.
Well, right now the BOP is out of money. Some of these facilities, they don't even have money for toilet paper. People are going to think I'm lying about this. Some federal facilities are actually tearing up bed sheets.
It was broken down by Larry Levine, a former federal prisoner who is now a prison consultant with significant influence within the system. He claimed that MDC was not designed with long-term federal time in mind. In essence, it's jail rather than prison. No work, no free time, and cramped living conditions. Diddy is currently serving time at one of the most wretched detention centers in the nation, even though he may have escaped a more severe penalty.
You see, it's essentially like a jail, a federal jail,
Yeah.
where you're inside all the time. You have housing units, there's a common area, there's cells around the wall. People are coming and going because people are getting charged, people are getting released. You're living in close quarters. You go to a real prison, you're going to be going outside. You may have a job. You're going to be doing things. This place here, it's really a lousy environment. But there's a big question as to where he's going to go. Some people think he's going to go to a minimum security facility, and other people say he's not eligible, and I agree because
Unless it is expedited, the next step is October, when his sentencing is scheduled to be determined. Even in such a case, the judge has broad discretion to extend the sentence by years by what is known as relevant conduct. This is crucial. At sentencing, a judge may consider his actions even if a jury finds him not guilty of some crimes. Even in the absence of a conviction, the judge may increase Diddy's sentence if he thinks he committed the crimes for which he was charged.
we don't have a lot of time. Here's something nobody's pointed out. That judge can hit him what's called relevant conduct, where they could actually sentence and enhance him for things that he either was acquitted of, found not guilty of, based on the conduct of what he did. So he may get more time.
Let's not pretend that this is merely a hypothetical situation. Federal prosecutors have already labeled Diddy's activities as a crime that can change the kind of institution he ends himself in and exclude him from any kind of cozy minimal security position, according to court records. When Larry said, "Some people think Diddy will go soft," he meant that. He disagrees, though even behind prison, there is a certain stigma associated with X-crimes. Minimal security is most likely out of the question. And that makes way for an entirely new kind of experience.
Big question as to where he's going to go. Some people think he's going to go to a minimum security facility, and other people say he's not eligible, and I agree because it's a crime.
Prosecutors, they said in their filing yesterday that it's a crime of. We'll see how it goes down when it goes to Senate.
Diddy has been incarcerated for more than 9 months, but this isn't the kind of change that goes ignored. His freedom, privacy, and reputation have already been taken away from him. No matter how formal the designation, he doesn't enter a federal facility like a king since he is a convicted criminal. Yes, Larry did mention something more to I in prison. Celebrity status does matter. When someone like Diddy enters the scene, people will swarm around him. Some out of opportunity, some out of curiosity, Larry jokingly said. Everyone started bad boy records on the inside. People will act as though they knew him and were associated with the label. Some prisoners will become friends with him in the hopes that he will support them after they are released or put money on their books.
Was acquitted on some charges.
Yeah.
People win. On multiple counts, people sometimes get things dismissed all the time. Fact is, he's no better than anyone else. He's a convicted felon. But what he's going to face is all these people are going to be up to him because of who he is and thinking that he could do something to further their career. You don't know how many people I met on the inside that all said they started Bad Boy Records, Death Row Records. Everybody started Death Row Records.
Death Row Records was started by everyone. However, that admiration has a hard ceiling. They won't respect the crimes, but they will put up with a celebrity. Diddy finds himself in an odd situation as a result. A monarch with no crown. Just watched. Not admired or loathed. Every action is closely examined.
Celebrity, but I don't know if people are going to give him high fives for having crimes. I don't see that. It's not a popular crime.
And another layer is protection. According to Larry, Diddy won't require much. Most likely, prisoners will leave him alone. Additionally, Larry claims that Diddy expects to hang out with African American gang members who might be able to support him enough to maintain order. Even the employees may treat him differently if they know who he is.
Needs security, and what would be the level of security for him?
No.
Is there any kind of protection?
I believe he'll be just fine when he's in there, and he'll have all the African American gang members hanging out with him, and maybe he'll put money on their books. He's not going to have any problem at all. Nothing. He'll get along just fine. Even the staff will treat him differently.
What is the end result, then? Diddy is about to experience a really strange consequence. He isn't dealing with life. He isn't dealing with decades. According to sentence guidelines and the potential for time served, he might be released in 12 to 18 months if everything proceeds as planned. And that appears to be freedom and a fresh start from the outside. After a few months, Diddy might be released, according to a number of legal experts. According to one legal expert, Diddy will serve time or nearly so, even though the Mann Act carries a maximum punishment of 10 years. Even though his sentencing guidelines call for a sentence of only 15 to 21 months, it isn't really a triumph. Something darker is seen through the layers. He was exposed as failure, publicly humiliated, and linked to a video that was so upsetting that even his supporters had to retract their statements. For nearly a year, he has been imprisoned in one of the worst federal detention facilities in the nation. And the accusations won't go away even when he leaves. Not guilty does not imply innocence. He will have to live in a world where his reputation is damaged and every post and interview is connected to this. That is the main point made by Rogan and other realists. He received partial grace in the legal system, but the punishment may have only just started in the public eye. One person commented, once he leaves, he will start acting badly again. He feels even more unstoppable now. Well done, jury. Well done for unleashing a monster to harm people and create new ones. Another person remarked, it's unbelievable that he got away with so many charges. Not being able to avoid them all. He produced a smokescreen before puffing. How do you interpret this surprising turn of events? Leave a comment with your ideas. We're all listening. Additionally, if you enjoy daring viewpoints and unknown tales, be sure to pay close attention to the next one. It will arrive quickly.